Understand, they couldn't do anything about you receiving the free gift of I am on the inside of you that allowed for you to do and accomplish anything that you set your mind to, anything that you gave your attention to, anything that you provided the power of your feelings towards. So they did the next best thing. They made sure that you did not know who you were, you didn't know what you had, and you damn sure ain't know how to use it. And we fell for it. Notice I said we all fell for it because we all were raised backwards. We all were taught upside down in reverse to make sure that we didn't align with the truths of the universe and we did not supersede, override, and overthrow the pseudo powers that be. But today, if you'll just lock in, if you'll just begin to comprehend the truths of the cliches that you have played catch with all your life, you can correct your issue in an instant. Not a pay period, not 2-3 months, not a couple years, not after the process is over, not after you're done following the steps. Immediately. You have one issue. I have one issue. Universally, collectively, we have one issue, and it's our ignorance of ourselves, our lack of an ability to align our actions with the truth that is on the inside of us that has been dormant and left ignored for decades, ages, eons, lifetimes. This is not your first rodeo. That's why you constantly walk in front of things that you've never been in front of before and feel a sense of familiarity because you're still vibrating on a familiar frequency, one from a lifetime that you don't even recall. But as you come in contact and identify these very, very familiar patterns that you've been locked inside of because of your superstitions and your fears, you can feel that this isn't the first time, even if physically you've never been in that location or around that person. Because once again, you've come in contact not with a new individual that's disturbing your spirit, like you like to say. Once again, you've met one of your superstitions. You've met one of your barriers. You've met one of your broken ideologies, one of your demonic paradigms. And rather than correct yourself, you reject others because convenience is what you have been taught inside of the system of compromise. But nobody told you, as you complained about the prices at every convenience store you ever stopped to, that convenience was very, very costly. Shortcuts actually take longer than the direct path that sometimes comes with roadblocks, barriers, and detours. I understand on your day job, you might be the exception. I understand in your household, nobody may be able to hold you accountable. But inside of the universal experience, inside of the physical presentation, inside of the simulation that you have been dropped inside of to be a full expression of the realm that you come from, so that the realm that you have landed in can reflect your origins. You're not gonna change the rules. You can't even violate the rules. It's an iron rod. The universal law is what it is, and you either know it and align yourself with it and live at peace, or you war with it and you settle for chaos and you stay depressed and stay conflicted and stay frustrated. But you are not gonna soak your way into the universal laws changing or bending or allowing for you to pass without you submitting to them. Craziest things is we know the laws of the land. We study the laws of the workplace, the laws of the road. We know The gun laws, we know what we need to do to get our weed card. We know all of these laws, but we don't understand the laws that govern us. We don't understand the universal law of the mind. We don't understand that the mind operates off of belief. We don't understand that whatever we tell ourself becomes the reality that we live inside of. And we can tell ourselves anything. We have witnessed that many times. We have lied to ourselves constantly to our own detriment and destruction. And we have yet to grasp by this pattern that we could tell ourselves beneficial lies, which actually are universal facts that we just haven't aligned with yet. And because of our assumption of it being true and our feeling of it being ours and our faith to apply it to ourselves, we see it manifest in our life directly. The same way we see all of the things that we don't want and say that we want to avoid, but because we give our attention and because we give our fear and feelings to the imagination of what we would do if it was to come true, it meets us right in the physical, effortlessly. And we say it's something that we didn't do, not even our fault. So if it's so easy, why not turn that ability to speak reality into existence to our benefit, where it's actually been causing us to live beneath our means because we were taught to speak beneath our means. I don't need to think of myself more highly than I should when all that is and ever has been is within me. Just knowing that, if I just knew the truth for myself, at least I wouldn't let you make me out to be less because I won't play your servant. At least I wouldn't get it in my head that I'm not loving you because I won't be your little butler, your little Jeffrey. No. Knowing who you are sets you free. Knowing who you are allows for you to create the experience that you have chose for yourself, rather than playing Russian roulette every day, waking up, talking about what you don't want and what you tired of, calling more of it to yourself, unbeknownst to you. That's the picture of ignorance. I'm doing something, not knowing the consequence, even though I'm suffering the consequences actively. Knowing how our mind works is key. It's detrimental in our abundance, in our success being fulfilled. It was promised. It was delivered. But if you're going to receive it and accept it and live in it, you're going to need to know how the mind works, because that was the gift. That's where your power lies. But if you don't know that, you'll spend all of your time, just like you've been doing, looking outside of yourself for sources of income, sources of happiness, sources of peace, sources of provision, sources of security. And you were given all of that. The source of all of those things for you is the same source that sustains the entire universe as you know it and everything beyond it. Because you know we real narrow-minded. So it's not that the source within you, your source, is the source of the world as you know it. Your source is the source of all. Something that you can't even fathom. I mean, when you look at the number of the total population of people on Earth, we can't even get a clear picture of what that number looks like in front of us, because we ain't never seen nothing like that. So how much more difficult do you imagine it is for us to factually imagine all space, all matter, all time? Like, come on, you stop. I mean, we are capable of many things. But that's exactly why I think you and I should focus on what we can do and what we are capable of changing and correcting, instead of what we've been doing, where we gripe and complain over things that are outside of our means of understanding and adjusting. You can't change half of the things you spend your time thinking about. So why are you thinking about it? You're doing nothing more but intensifying your reaction and giving your subconscious more of a leg to stand on in the dysfunction that you say you want out of. If you want out of it, get it off your mind, because it originates from your mind. You consciously fed it to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind, which is blind, fed it back to you. Not to be a jerk. By your request. Your subconscious mind only knows two responses: yes and more. You consciously say please. Your subconscious mind says yes and more. Anything you set your attention on, anything you give your feelings to, any imagination that you paint, and you provide the element of your emotions, you are telling your subconscious to bring it to you. But then oftentimes when you get the things that you have set your attention on and you have called to yourself, you turn around and call your support system and complain to them and blame somebody else. And they don't know no better, so they pity party with you. They kick it with you. They support it and feel bad for you and send you a couple dollars if they got it until they tired of it. But if they only knew what you didn't know, and if you were genuinely searching for people of knowledge and good counsel, and you weren't looking for people to fuel your dysfunction, and you didn't kick everybody out of your life that tried to tell you that your struggles were your own doing, and you were the only one who could undo it, you'd probably be further ahead by now. But it's okay, because again, remember, we're not focused on where we've been. We're not thinking about where we can go. We're right here in this moment, adjusting the things that have cost us in the past and are costing us in the present, so that moving forward, we never have to suffer again. The promise of never suffering again is enough for me to bite the bullet and eat the nasty meal of me having to look back at how I've been and look back and see what I have cost myself, even though I blamed some of everybody else. I understand that it was in my head, the Department of Revenue, that was destroying my life. I understand that it was the woman who filled out the application at one point and sent it to the Department of Revenue with intentions to destroy my life. I get that. But understand, I've evolved, I've matured, I've grown in knowledge and wisdom to the point that I see now that it was the superstition that I carried from all the black men that I was around as a child that told me that child support wasn't nothing to play with, and child support will do you in, and child support will come and take everything you got, and them people will lock you up by that money. And them all of that superstition met me when I got the notice in the mail. And my superstition partnered with my inner conversation that flooded to my outward conversation that was full of emotional expressions became my reality. And the only way I was able to undo it was to sit still, become aware of what I had done to myself, and choose otherwise. Nobody else could save me. Nobody else could stop it. The mind is purified the same way it was defiled. Say it. Nah, not because I told you to say it, but because things hit different when you put your vibration on it. The mind is purified the same way the mind was defiled. Repetition, faith, and expectancy. Every dysfunctional, broken paradigm that you hold, you repeat it repetitiously because you believed it. You told it to other people. You told it to yourself. And it hardened into fact. Just like Uncle Neville say. Faith. Faith is nothing but the belief in what is not seen. The substance of it coming into reality by your partnership of attention and emotion. Expectancy. Self-explanatory. Look back at the outcomes. Stop defending and deflecting and see that every outcome aligned with what you expected. When you won, those were the days that you expected to win. When you lost, those were the days that you woke up talking like a loser, thinking like a loser, feeling like a loser. And the physical world had to provide to you what you had subconsciously been carrying so that you could become aware of what you needed to correct. It's not a punishment. This is a classroom. Your body is a learning mechanism. The worst thing that can happen to your body is you failing to learn the lesson that it was given to teach you. But again, we were taught in reverse. We were given an upside down thought system so that we would not align with truth, so that we would remain powerless, so that we could be shepherded and guided in the darkness and be perfectly fine with it. The only way for you to change the paradigms that you've partnered with that have been costing you and turn them into paradigms of truth that will pay you in peace and prosperity, you're gonna have to drop a very common ideology that's taught early on in life, that if you expect very little, when you get very little, you can avoid disappointment. Understand, the idea that punching myself in the face hurts less than you punching me in the face is pretty stupid, because I'm still getting punched in the face. And it's brain dead stupid, because it's not someone else punching me in the face. This is me inflicting pain upon my own face voluntarily. You weren't even sure in your ignorance of the universal truths that disappointment was coming, but you partnered with it in your thinking system. And the idea of it, the picture that you imagined, frightened you so much to the point that you came up with this silly, illusionary solution that to avoid feeling what you saw yourself feeling in your imagination, if they said no, you could just ask for something less. You could compromise, or you could ask for nothing at all, and you could sit in this thing that you've identified as lack. And if you disappoint yourself, I mean, they can never disappoint you, so they still your friends, right? But they should have taught us that our inner conversations become our outward expressions. They should have taught us that if we revise the things that we say to ourselves instead of judging others, it would totally change our interactions amongst each other. They should have told us that the power is in us and our thinking processes and what we expect as we come in contact with other people. They should have told us that if we only would wipe our superstitions and our preconceived notions towards other cultures and other groups of people based on their color or dialect or dialogue or their economical status, that everybody could flow in peace, because all are but pieces of one. Like, you let these people trick you. You let these people make you hate yourself to the point that you walk around talking about you hate people that look like you. Not even understanding that they are but a reflection of what you are, what you have become in your inner delusions, based largely on your inner dialogues that you have adopted from pop music, movies, Netflix series, TikTok videos, trending YouTubes, and brain dead celebrities that get paid to guide you the wrong way. Oftentimes, not everybody. I challenge you for one day to change the law that you live by, to the point that instead of judging people, instead of critiquing any and everything, I challenge you to for one day, for 24 hours, don't complete a single negative statement. Anytime you hear a negative statement beginning on the inside of yourself, catch it and revise it, redirect it into something positive, something life-bringing, something truthful, something factual, something that you desire, something that you actually want. When you get ready to start talking about that thing that you can't afford, that thing that you can't do, that thing that you tired of, that no, we offer that. We're revising all of those statements and we're speaking life into ourselves. We are no longer eating our way into the coffin. We are no longer thinking our way into the coffin. We are no longer habitually acting in ways that say we want to go into the coffin, even though we say we want to live. If we do nothing else in 2025, we're going to align with what we say. Or we're going to take the label as a liar and wear it proudly. Because it's the age of the Aquarian. So, ain't no hiding. It's gonna come to the light. And the crazy thing is people already can look at you and look at where you are and look at the state of your life, not what you have. I understand that's how most people identify who people are and where they are by what they drive and where they live. But I can see the state of your countenance. I can see how you treat other people. I can see your willingness to compromise or your vigilance to create opportunities for yourself and know exactly where you are in the process of knowing thyself. If you still around here asking for favors, you still around here begging, borrowing, and stealing, I know that you still compromised. I know that the capitalists have ran quite a play and programmed you in such a way that you are willing to rob yourself and everybody else around you just to have a piece of the pie. What pie? What is the pie? and sold you a dream and told you that it come with a pie, and you willing to die to get it, but you ain't willing to live to have the full abundance flowing supernaturally, divinely through you to others around you, operating inside of a kingdom that you were given dominion in. Man, come on now. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Only a fool would choose the illusion. Only a fool would choose the struggle. Only a fool would choose to go to war with free peace on the other side. Only a fool would go to prison being offered eternal peace and liberty. Why would you do? Because you don't know no better. And the minute that you are willing to admit that you don't know no better, you would sit down and learn. And the minute that you learn and apply, everything can change. You and me was sold the same lie. They told us that our subconscious mind feeds our conscious mind. And we needed to learn how to break past the wall of our conscious mind and reprogram our subconscious mind. And we needed to go to bed listening to affirmations. And we needed to read books full of universal truths over and over again. We needed to Bob Proctor the thing and walk around with Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich in our pocket and have the page fading from our finger smudges because we just keep touching it and keep reciting it and keep repeating it and keep. But if I got to do all of that, is it really in me in the first place? I thought it was a free gift, and I thought that it was already embedded inside of my coding. But I do find that I am that deep sometimes in my illusions. I do find that I have spent that much time being programmed and investing in the upside down infrastructure that has destroyed generations of creators. I do understand that. So it's not that the Bob Proctor approach is wrong. You need to be willing to Malcolm X this thing. You need to be willing to do whatever is necessary to recover your true identity. There's a treasure house of eternity on the inside of you. There is a universal supernatural wallet with your name on it, and it's full of unlimited resources. And you knowing that, and you sharing that, and us collectively operating from that awareness would crash the economy. And you know who know that? The people who depend on the economy to live the life of luxury that they've grown accustomed to. Stop trying to change the world. Just get you in line. Just understand that your conscious mind is the captain of the ship on deck. He can see. She can see. And she is navigating and feeding information to the subconscious mind, who is blind, can't see, follows directions religiously. No arguments. Understand that there's an internal argument on the inside of you. You are not in conversations with your subconscious mind. You are not going back and forth with God. You are going back and forth with the legion of voices that is a product of you not knowing the true whisper of I am. See, if you would just know the true call, if you would just know the truth, if you knew how to identify the universal laws that don't change, if you knew how the mind operated, then you know it ain't that motor mouth that you need to be trying to check. It's not the motor mouth on the inside of you that you need to be trying to get in line. It's the one that's silent, always receiving and always feeding you back endlessly, effortlessly, whatever you set your attention on. We're gonna keep the conversation going, but for the night, we're gonna wrap it up right here. Love, safety.